Hello everyone. So in today's DBMS video lecture, we'll start with the next chapter, that is chapter 5 according to your the pattern of the textbook what has been given, and this is the first chapter in case of your module 3. So this is all about the advanced queries and its different constraints. So in the last video lecture of the SQL part, we have covered with some basic of it. That is, we have learnt with the create table command, insert command, delete, update, and a simple retrieval command, that is select from and where, and how to write a simple query by using select from and where, and we have seen it. So today what we will do is in case of advanced queries, we need to learn some more things. Say in case of we need to understand the three-valued logic, okay, followed by we need to understand the nested query, correlated queries, followed by the group by and having function. So once we get all this advanced queries and its concepts together, then we'll start writing some queries for the given problem statement. So until then, I won't go with any examples in priorly of writing a bigger query. Let us first understand what are all required in order to write a query for given different problem statements. So as per today's session, I have planned for 3 topics. The first topic is, so under this chapter name as SQL Advanced Queries, Assertion, Triggers and the Views is the name of a chapter. So under that, the first topic is comparison using null and the 3-valued logic. So what is this 3-valued logic? Let us learn. So as you all know, you are familiar with the 2-valued logic, that is case of true and false. So for the different logical operators and or and not, you have been working on this logical operators, the comparison operators being used on it. So now if there's one more thing called as a null value in DBMS being used. See, null has 3 different interpretations, but all these 3 interpretations have a same value given null, N-U-L-L. So it can be taken in any way, but the null is also a value being given to an attribute. Say for example, salary of an employee. He might be a new employee who has been placed in a company or an organization, and salary is not yet fixed for him. So in that case, it might be null at the initial case. Okay, or a phone number or a landline number. People who don't have landline in their house, for that attribute, for that person in the row, it will be placed null if you don't have a landline. So likewise, we have different interpretations of null. So if null comes into picture, 2 attributes, then this becomes a 3-valued logic. Okay, so 3-valued logic in the sense it becomes true, false and unknown. So these are 3 values which can be given for a output of an attribute. Say for example, I'll ask you to check salary, display the names of employees who have salary above 10,000 and who are working in department number 10. So department number 10, and I'm using AND operator there between 2 conditions. So one attribute condition, second attribute condition, between that I have an AND operator. So now this attribute condition either evaluates to a value or evaluates to a null value. If there are no people who is having more than 10,000 salary means, it will give null as an output. So when I have a null as an output, that will be taken as what? An unknown. That is a value unknown at that instance when a query is being given. Hope you all are following it. So unknown says that the value is not given as an output when the query has been executed. Okay, we'll see some more examples as and when the time permits. So before that, the value what the null indicates can have 3 interpretations. One is unknown, one is unavailable, other one is not applicable. Okay. Now for example, we'll go with the first one now, unknown type of null. So I am just explaining the 3 variants in which you can interpret the values of null. Okay, so the first one is unknown. Say for example, I have a student table if you take. Okay, so I'll take the next attribute if I take on here, say so called as phone number, landline number, something like that. Okay, a phone number. Okay, now it need not that all students will be having a phone number or a landline number in their home or having a cell phone with them. So in such a cases, I can say that I don't know, means the value is not known that whether this person is having a phone number or not, because he has not inserted while inserting the values. He has left empty for it. So automatically the null values comes over here if the first person is not inserted the value. Next case, the values will be filled if in case if they have a phone number. So this way, when I have a null over there, it indicates what? Unknown. For the case of what type of attributes? Telephone number or a landline number. If they don't have a landline, because I don't know that he's having a landline or not, but he has put null here. So it indicates what? Phone number indicates unknown. The value is unknown for him. Okay. Next. Next, the unavailable. See, for example, age is an attribute, one such attribute which gives me the unavailable type of a null. What is that? Say for example, I'll put null here for the first student. What does it indicate to you all? Null indicates in that case age is not being available, because there can't be a student without an age. He should be having an age, but it is unavailable at this point of time. During the insertion, he has not inserted because it was not available. So in that case, unavailable type of a null indicates that I know there is a age, because there should be an age to call him as a student, hence it is not available. So in that case, it is unavailable type of a null. Okay, so it's clear. Next, not applicable. Say for example, some attributes to the some type of entities might not be applicable. Say for example, I'll take a faculty table, okay, and I'll keep on going inserting the other attributes. So assume that I will want to insert one more attribute called as the PhD degree, something like that, or the masters or the PhD or the postdoc. Okay, there might be few faculties who are being completed their postdoc, their doctoral work, and who are some still are pursuing. Some not might be registered. So in that case, for people who have completed, I can have a PhD degree S. For others, I might not. It might not be applicable. Okay. Say for example, there might be some faculties who have been contractual, who have completed the engineering or their masters, and they just came for contractual purpose, and they are not yet the permanent faculties. For them again, I will put PhD what? Null. Means what? For them, the PhD degree is not applicable. Okay, or else if I take this table as an employee table, and if I have all the teaching and non-teaching staff together, and if I have a degree over there, the degree attribute for non-teaching staff doesn't matter anything, because they are not teaching faculties. So it might be that one attribute on the table doesn't applicable. It is not be applicable. Sorry, it will not be applicable for the given attributes of that table. That is what actually the third type of null meant to be. That is not applicable says that any attribute on the name of a table for the value of a row will not be applicable. Okay, it might be or it not might be. On such a case also we can insert null values. That is also a possible case. Okay, so hope this was clear, I guess. So these are the three variants of null. So unknown, second case unavailable, the third case is not applicable. Okay, so examples are being clear, hope I clear. So in case of unknown, the telephone number. In case of unavailable, the age. You know that there is a value but it is not present, so unavailable. And not applicable is a degree can be for employees. Teaching and non-teaching can have a different degree. So some degrees might apply to some part of employees, and some degrees may not apply to some part of other employees. So that is what is not applicable. Now if we write a truth table by using this third value, that is a null value logic, then it looks quite different than the previous one. So if I write the truth table for and, or as well as not, so how it might look like. So in case of and, so if the attribute on the left hand side, the condition on the left hand side, then you have and operator, and the condition on the right hand side. So if both evaluates to true, the output will be true, as you all know. So if one is true and another is false, the output will be false. But what you need to understand here is, if the one is true and the other one is unknown, means if it evaluates to null, as I mentioned, select star from employee where salary greater than 10,000 and salary greater than 10,000 and department number equal to 10. if there is no department number 10, I will have a null on the right hand side. So if there is a null on the right hand side, that indicates what? The output will be null itself. The output will be null itself. So true and unknown, the output will be unknown. Next, false, true, the output will be false. As you all know, false and false, false, false and unknown, it is false. So if I have a two conditions in an AND operator, if in which one evaluates to false and another evaluates to null, doesn't matter to me, the output will be false itself. Okay, unknown, true, unknown, unknown, false, false, unknown, unknown, unknown. So in case of unknown only false, the output will be false. In case of true and unknown or unknown and true, it will be unknown itself. In case of unknown and unknown, means if both the condition evaluates to null itself, the output will be null only. So this is what the AND truth table with respect to three valued logic. Coming to the OR operator, as you all know, if one is true, the output will be true. So true, 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 false, true. True and unknown is also true. That is important. Irrespective of false or unknown on the right hand side, if one is true, the output will be true itself. The first case. Second case, if false and true, it's true. False, false, in the only case it is false is when both are false, it will be false for OR operator. In case of false and unknown, the output will be unknown, as it in the same case here also. Sorry, it's a reverse. In case of that false and unknown, it was unknown. Sorry, false. In case of false and unknown, in this case of OR operator will be unknown. So dominating is unknown here. So unknown and true is true, unknown and false is unknown, unknown and unknown is unknown. Okay, so quite vice versa of your AND operator, where true, unknown and true is true. In case of unknown and true is unknown in case of AND operator. So this is OR operator. And finally NOT, that is true is false, false is true, unknown will be unknown itself. If you take a negate of unknown, it is same. Now, so this is what is the three valued logic of in case of writing the values for a tables. Say null indicates three variants: unknown, not available and unavailable. All three can be indicated as unknown. That is the third valued logic. So whenever you have operations being performed by using AND operator or OR operator in the where clause while writing a query, you make use of this three valued logic. Okay. Now how do we use this apart from writing an AND operator or OR operator? Is there any other operator is directly can be verified with whether an attribute value for any given particular row is having a null? So for that we have two different operators, that is null and is not null. Okay, we'll see that now. So let me rub off this. We'll have some space, I'll rub off this. So in case of start from student, okay, where age, okay, you need not see my question was how to check whether an attribute value in any given instances in any of the given rows is having a null value, any one attribute I am checking for. Okay, can we do it where age equal to null? So to verify this, we have another way of doing it in case of your the SQL programming, that is by using the operator is null and is not null. So where age is null, if you give, so automatically if any one is null here, details I am giving star, so it will print name, USN, department and age, and as well as the faculty ID will be printed. Okay, so this is a simple example I have taken, student and a faculty table, where faculty is students have been taught by faculty. So FID is the foreign key in student table and FID is the primary key in faculty table, and USN is the primary key in student table. Okay, now what you need to understand is null. So what will be the output for me? So if in case if I just take name and USN separated by comma, so the output will be name USN, okay, that is will be having Arjun and Abhi with a USN 4MH17 and 4MH18 as the values. Okay, because see, this is not being selected, sorry, where age is null. So in this case this is another output, and we'll come back to this. So what we can expect here is not null. Sorry, this output is for this particular constraint, that is where age is not null. So which and all row where age is not null, Arjun as well as Abhi. So the output Arjun and Abhi will be printed. In case of is null, we will be having only two things, that is you will be having your name here and we will be having a USN here. What is the name of that person? That is Arun, and USN is 4MH16, I guess. Yes. So this is for is null and this for is not null. Okay. So is null and is not null is a way of verifying whether an attribute value for any given instance, not for given instance, all the instances in a table being checked for that attribute whether the value is null or not. So this is what is in case of is null and is not null, can be used easily to verify whether an attribute value is null or not null. Okay, good. Next we will see with nested queries, tuples and set or multi-set comparisons. So what is called as a nested queries? See, still we have not yet started writing some simpler queries with select, from and where. Okay, if in case, if sometimes what happens is I need to get an output of a particular query, that output should be used as a condition in another query. It might be to a same relation or two different relations, it depends on the question being asked. So if that is the case, then we need to write the nested queries where the inner query executes first and the outer query executes next. Means the inner query executes and gives us an output that is used as a condition checking in the outer query, where clause to evaluate the final result. Say for example, I'll take a question. So I'll make you to understand what is nested query with an example itself. Say for example, display the name of a faculty who are teaching students from IS department. Okay, just by seeing these two tables, you can see the department is in student table. Okay, and name of faculty, what they are asking to be as an output to be displayed, it is in faculty table. Now how can I relate? The first thing is I can relate through FID, right? So when you want an output, a condition to be checked from the faculty table where the name of a student, the name of a faculty to be displayed, but the condition to be checked in the student table where a department equal to IS, or say, I mean in our case it is IS being given. So how to write the query for this? Let us see. So first what I supposed to do is I'll write the inner query first. Okay, select FID from student where a department equal to IS. So I've written this simpler query where the IS department, the value of this 2 will be selected. Okay, what I am selecting? FID. What are the FIDs of this? 11. So the output would be 11 being selected. That is 2 twice. Now I want the name of the faculty 11. Okay, so I'll be using this in operator. I can also use equality, less than, greater than. Okay, less than or equal to, all comparison operators can be used, but I'll let me tell you why in is used and how over equality. I can also be used equal here, but when operation tends to give a multi-set value, not just set. If it's a multi-set value, then it is better to go with a in clause, because it try to verify a given value either is matching with one or more. Okay, in case of the equality, I mean in operator. So select name from faculty where FID in. See, the way the nested query executes, you need to understand. Say for example, it will take the first FID from the faculty table. What is the first FID table? 10. Is 10 in this set now? Right now what is there in set? 11. Okay, so 10, Now for each row of the outer table, this is verified once. It checks whether it is in that output of the inner query what I got. Okay, so 10 is not there. Next again it comes here. Is 11 here? 11 is there. So then do what? Display the name of 11, that is B. So B is been displayed. Okay, and it will be displayed twice. We can overcome that by using the distinct keyword. I'll get back to that. Okay, so anyhow the output will be what for us? The name B will be displayed. So this is called as nested queries. See, nested queries are very useful in case of writing a very complicated queries, because it shortens the burden of a developer, because you can take a small problem at a time and you can just solve it one by one and you can just relate with one another. And whenever there is a need of what you call as subcondition, okay, what we call subcondition, in that subcondition to be matched with one set of relations, if that satisfies us, then it can be verified with another table. So in that case we will be going for nested query. So always remember, when we write nested query, the inner query, the one which executes first, gets the output. It might be a set or a multi-set. If it is a multi-set, better to use an in operator. If it is a set operator, you can use an in operator, or less than or greater than, something like that, and you can have a verification over there. Okay, so sometimes you can use the equality in case of set and multi-set. It depends on the particular parameters, the attributes what I am passing. And other thing is, make sure attribute on the left hand side, either you use in, equal, less than, greater than, anything, and the attribute on the right hand side, that is the select, whatever you have used, should match with the type. It does not match with the name, but should match with the type and the same values. Say for example, FID is integer, here also FID is integer. Okay, and the values what I am going to give for FID is in numbers 10, 11 and 12. FID is also having 10, 11 and 12. So they both should be type compatible. Only then you can use it in the where condition of outer query and select condition of the inner query, because it is the output is given as a condition to this condition, because I am doing a condition wrong where FID in, I am checking some values there. So when I have an in operator, I can check with multiple values. When you have equality, you can check only with one condition. Say if say for example, right now assume that there is one more E is also working in 12, as we have 12 here. So in that case the output will be 11 and 12, right? So now it's a multiple values been written, so at that time I cannot use equality operator. Hope it is clear now, because the inner query cannot be compared with outer query with the equal condition. There are multiple values. Okay, so I cannot go with the equality condition there. FID equals 11 and 12, I can't do that. Where FID in 11 and 12 I can check. Okay, if the output was what I am expecting from the inner query is only one value, then I can use equality operator. Okay, so this is what in case of the nested query in SQL programming. So the one thing, several things you need to explain when the question is being asked. The first thing is the type compatibility one. The inner query executes first and the outer query executes, and make sure when to use when and when to use equality. Okay, so let me ask one more, let me take one more example here, that is example for using case of greater than, lesser than. Say for example, if I ask you all to just to display the names of faculties, okay, who take the salary which is more than the CS department, okay, something like that if I ask. So see, I am asking a query with the same table itself. Salary table is in faculty table and there are 3 faculties been working here, and I want to know how many are working for ISN and how many are working for CS. Now I need to find out what is the maximum salary in IS department if there are multiple people working. Now I need to verify if anyone from other department apart from IS department, okay, having a salary more than the person who is earning in IS department. It's quite confusing, let me repeat again. So the question is, find out the names of faculties who are taking salary more than the salary taken by an employee or a faculty is working in IS department. So the question can be cut down into 2 ways. First, let me find out what is the maximum salary which is being got from the IS department. then I can get to know what is the salary which is taken more than compared to the IS department, what salary which is taken from the CS department. Okay, so say select salary from faculty and faculty F, comma student S, where F dot FID equals S dot FID and department equal to IS. Okay, this is my inner query. Let me explain what I am doing here. I am selecting a salaries, okay, of whom? Of only those salaries from IS department. Only those salaries from IS department. So to get the IS department salaries, the department details is stored in the department table, and faculty names, salaries are stored in faculty table. So the first thing I need to do is create a relation between this with the help of FIDs, primary key and foreign key. So I have joined it. Okay, and I'm giving one more, see I'm using AND operator, and I'm giving condition where department equal to IS. So when I perform join operation, as you all know, there is a one big table being created with the attributes of this table plus the attributes of this table, one next to it. As you all know, in the last class we have discussed that. Okay, after this join, I'm saying department equal to IS. In which and all row the department value is IS, only those three rows will be selected. In those three rows, what has been, which attribute has been taken? Only the salary attribute has been taken. Okay, so when the output comes, what is output I'll be getting in case of that? So 11, 20, employee number 11 is having 25,000, and 12 is also IS department. It's okay, so 25,000 and 30,000 is the output from the inner query. Now what is the next part? Now I want to know the names of employees, okay, sorry, names of faculty, sorry, who are taking salary above this or lesser than this. In case of above this, there will be no output, so I'll go for lesser than this. Okay, so select what you want, the name, the attribute name from the faculty table, from faculty where, okay, salary, okay, lesser than this. Okay, what if I use salary greater than? Let me explain what happens here. Now take salary. Now it will start with the first one, the 10. It is 20,000. Whether 20,000 is greater than 25 and 30? No, it will not be displayed. Okay, next 25. It is not greater, it is exactly equal. So if you want greater than equal to, you can use it. 30,000, yes, 30,000 is printed because 30,000 is a salary of an faculty whose salary has been taken above the salary of an IS department, but 30 is also belonging to IS department itself. So this is how you write a nested query when given multiple conditions. Okay, and greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to, you can use, and you can use equality operator when we have only one value being written from the inner query, but here I have multiple values. Okay, this way you can apply the conditions between multiple tables with the help of the nested query. Anyhow, we will see some more example with respect to once you see with all the classes of writing a query, that is still we need to know group by, having, and order by clauses still remaining. We are done with select, from, and where. That's a simpler one. In the simpler one we have this nested query part. Okay. And in case of In case of nested query, and one more thing is that the attributes need not be one, it can have multiple attributes. That is, say for example, select something from something where, okay, I can have attribute 1, I can have 2 attributes in, okay, select, again I need to have here attribute 1 comma 2. So if you have 2 attributes in the inner query being selected, same thing can be compared with 2 attributes by using in operator, multiset. Okay, so this is also possible, and we'll see some examples of this also. Okay, so in this video lecture we discussed about the 3 valued logic of a null value, where null can be interpreted in 3 different ways. Based on that, we need to write a third value logic called as unknown, true, false as well as unknown for AND operator, or operator as well as not operator. Okay, followed by that we understood what is the 2 operators being used to verify whether an attribute value is null or not by using is null as well as is not null. Okay, followed by that we understood what are nested queries. So nested queries, how to write nested queries, and what is set and multiset. So the nested query are the one which has inner query and outer query, in which the inner query executes first, then the outward query executes. Okay, and there are some rules which you need to follow, that there should be the type compatibility conditions whenever you have the conditions being checked. Here you can use any type of comparison operators. You can use in operator, equal, lesser than, greater than, lesser than, equal to, greater than or equal to can be used. Okay, so this is all about your nested query. Some more examples to be seen, we'll see in the next video lecture. Thank you all.